Okay, so right now, as I'm recording this, it is colder in Jacksonville, Florida than it is in Anchorage, Alaska. And I need you to sit with that for a second. The jet stream looks like somebody grabbed it with both hands and just snapped it in half. And that broken pattern is why half this country is freezing while the other half is hitting 70 degrees. We've got a 115-degree temperature spread happening across one single nation right now. And that kind of extreme gradient doesn't just sit there quietly. It makes weather go absolutely crazy. On top of that, the polar vortex is literally splitting apart in the stratosphere as we speak, which means the cold that's crushing the east right now ain't going anywhere until March. I'm Tom Hadley. I've got over 80 cities to cover today, so drop yours in the comments right now and let's get into exactly what's heading your way. But first, here's something that should genuinely concern you. The same power grid that collapsed in Nashville 3 weeks ago, leaving people freezing in their homes, hasn't been fixed. The same infrastructure that failed across the Southeast, killing over 150 people, is about to get stress tested again, and nobody's talking about that part. So yeah, this isn't just a weather video. This is a heads up that the system you're depending on might not hold when things get bad, and things are about to get bad. All right, let me break down what's actually happening in the atmosphere, because once you see the big picture, everything else clicks into place. Picture a massive ridge of high pressure parked over the plains, pumping temps into the 70s across Nebraska and Iowa in early February, which is absolutely wild. That ridge acts like a wall, forcing Arctic air to pour down the eastern side of the country like water funneling down a drain. And that's exactly what we're seeing. The European and GFS models are actually agreeing on this setup. And y'all, when those two stop fighting each other, you pay attention, because that almost never happens. Now here's the timeline, and I need you to lock in because timing is everything with what's about to unfold this week. Wednesday, an Alberta clipper knifes into the Midwest. Quick hitter, 1 to 2 inches for Chicago and southern Wisconsin. Just the opening act, nothing too crazy. Thursday is when winter stops playing nice. A massive Arctic high drops out of Canada and starts funneling dangerously cold air straight down the gut of the country. We're talking wind chills, potentially crashing to 60 below zero in Minnesota. And at that temperature, exposed skin gets frostbite in under 5 minutes. No exaggeration. Friday is when the real chaos kicks off. Arctic air slams into Gulf moisture along a collision line stretching from New Mexico all the way through Virginia. That boundary is where snow and ice are going to go absolutely nuts. And here's the kicker. This system is slow moving, so totals just keep stacking hour after hour. All right, let's hit the cities because I know that's why you clicked. Starting with the Northeast, where this cold has been absolutely relentless. New York City, you're sitting on 22 inches of snow already this month. Temps averaging 35 with lows dropping to 28. And honestly, y'all have earned a break. Good news is temps should climb to the low 40s by Wednesday, maybe even push mid 40s. And after what you've been through, that's going to feel like a tropical vacation. But, and there's always a but, that Valentine's Day system is loading up in the background, and the models are getting real interesting about what it might do. Boston buried under 22 inches, temps averaging 29, wind chills making it feel like you're standing inside a walk-in freezer every time you step outside. You'll catch a midweek break too, but February in Boston is like a fighter who keeps getting back up. Just when you think it's over, another punch is coming. Philadelphia dealing with 20 inches, temps around 35. Here's your silver lining. Mid-40s to near 50 possible by Wednesday before the next round potentially swings through. Pittsburgh has been absolutely crushed with 23 inches averaging 30 degrees, and that lake effect machine keeps adding to the totals like it's got a personal vendetta. Quick question for my Northeast folks. Y'all seen any flakes flying right now? Drop your exact location in the comments. I want to see how this matches up with the radar. Syracuse and Albany both drowning at 22 and 15 inches. Temps stuck in the mid-20s, and that lake effect snow machine shows absolutely zero signs of quitting. Hartford and Providence grinding through 12 to 14 inches each. Temps hovering around 28 to 30. Classic New England winter just refusing to let up. DC and Baltimore, y'all have seen about 10 inches each. temps in the mid-30s, and here's something most people don't realize about your area. February is historically DC's snowiest month of the entire year, and the Climate Prediction Center is showing 3 to 7 more inches still possible before the month ends. So yeah, keep those shovels within arm's reach. You're definitely going to need them again, probably more than once. Now let me swing to the Midwest, because this is where the temperature roller coaster is about to get genuinely insane over the next few days. Chicago, you've got 14 inches on the ground, temps averaging 26. But check this out. You could swing from single digits to near 40 by midweek. That's a 30-plus degree swing in just 3 days. And that kind of rapid whiplash is absolutely brutal on roads, pipes, and honestly, your entire body. Detroit sitting at 8 inches, temps around 26 with flurries in the forecast. And that lake effect enhancement is going to keep padding those totals all week long. Milwaukee getting hammered with 12 inches of lake effect. Temps averaging just 24. And here's a stat that'll make you do a double take. NOAA has flagged all of Michigan for 50 to 60% above normal February snowfall. And we're not even halfway through the month yet. Indianapolis, Columbus, Cleveland, all riding the same wave of misery at 8 to 10 inches each. Temps in the low 30s with more wintry mix on deck. Minneapolis holds the crown for coldest major city in America right now. 12 inches of snow, temps averaging just 18 degrees, straight up brutal conditions. Kansas City and St. Louis both looking at 5 to 6 inches, temps in the low to mid 30s, sitting right on that knife's edge where rain flips to snow real fast. Omaha piled up with 8 inches, temps around 27, and that Arctic air mass parked over your city is acting like it signed a long-term lease. Real quick. What's the temperature reading on your car dashboard right now? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious how cold it's running out there today. All right, Southeast, I got to keep it real with y'all because this region just took an absolutely historic beating and straight up cannot afford another hit. The January storm killed over 150 people across this region, left more than 1 million without power. Some families didn't get their lights back for weeks. And here's the part that should make you angry. The infrastructure that failed hasn't been rebuilt. The grid that collapsed is still vulnerable. Nothing's been fixed. Charlotte saw 11 inches of snow this season, temps averaging 44 with a warming trend. Cleanup crews are still working some neighborhoods 3 weeks later. Atlanta sitting at 2 inches with temps around 46, looks peaceful now, but that cold air wrapping back in from the west could flip the script real quick. Nashville dealing with 6 inches of snow plus nearly 5 inches of rain, temps averaging 42, and ice damage from the last storm is still being cleaned up. Raleigh with 4 inches, temps around 44, and the models are hinting at something for Friday that could clip the Carolinas again, so keep your eyes peeled. Now here's what had weather Twitter completely melting down overnight, and I gotta walk you through why it matters. The Euro model painted a stripe of moderate snow stretching from the southern Midwest all the way into the central and southern Appalachians by Friday afternoon. We're talking potential snow reaching as far south as South Carolina and northern Georgia, with North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia sitting right in the bullseye. Now, I got to be straight with y'all. This morning's run dialed some of that back. So please don't go panic clearing the bread and milk aisles just yet. But the signal is there, the energy is there, and if the cold air source holds stronger than expected, Friday could turn real interesting real fast. Memphis sitting at 3 inches with temps around 44. Warming trend after that last storm, but y'all are directly in the path if another system spins up. Louisville has eaten 10 inches already. Temps averaging 36. And that Ohio Valley corridor is basically a magnet for whatever winter decides to throw at us. Oklahoma City sitting on a whopping 12 inches, temps around 34, and more cold with snow showers coming because apparently winter has a personal grudge against you. Tulsa at 4 to 6 inches, temps in the low 40s, right in that transition zone where conditions could flip either direction without much warning. Cincinnati dealing with 8 inches, temps around 31, planted right in that Ohio Valley sweet spot where winter weather loves to camp out and overstay its welcome. Now let's talk Southern Plains, because this is where that wild temperature swing is about to hit the hardest and the fastest. Dallas and Fort Worth, y'all are sitting pretty at 56 and 50 degrees right now, enjoying mild weather like winter completely forgot your zip code exists. But here's the reality check that's coming. When that Valentine's Day system develops, you could crash from near 60 to below freezing in under 48 hours. And let's be brutally honest here, your infrastructure is not built for that kind of swing. We all learned that during Uri in 2021 and again last month. Houston at 50 degrees with about 3 inches of rain expected. Mild for now, but freezing rain becomes a real possibility in northern suburbs when cold air catches up. Austin at 56, San Antonio at 53, both enjoying the calm, but keep one eye on these forecasts because Texas weather flips like somebody's hitting a light switch. El Paso chilling at 50 degrees, mild and dry, basically existing on a completely different planet than what the rest of the country is dealing with. Albuquerque cool and dry at 40 with just a couple inches of snow expected, but that western trough diving in is going to shake things up soon. All right, now here's the part that has me genuinely excited. The West Coast is finally about to remember what winter actually feels like. Seattle and Portland have been stuck in rainy and mild purgatory for weeks. Temps around 41 with over 5 inches of rain. But a major pattern shift is incoming. Starting around February 15th through the 21st, storm after storm is going to slam the West Coast like winter suddenly realized it forgot to show up. The Sierra Nevada could see 7 to 10 feet of snow in the highest elevations. And I cannot stress enough how desperately California needs every single flake of that. Snowpack across the Sierra and Cascades has been running at just 50 to 70% of normal all season. Colorado is tracking toward its worst snowpack on record. Denver's sitting at 7 inches with temps around 27, but major storms are loading up that could finally start clawing back toward normal levels. Salt Lake City has been basically robbed of any real winter this year, and I think there's going to be some massive opportunities for significant storms rolling through. Los Angeles and San Francisco staying mild in the 50s and 60s with rain finally arriving, a completely different universe from what the East is enduring. Sacramento looking at 4.6 inches of rain, Fresno at 3.1, San Jose at 3.5. This is exactly the moisture the state has been desperately waiting for. San Diego, mild and coastal at 55. Phoenix, bone dry at 56. Las Vegas at 51. Basically spring weather while the rest of us question our life choices. Quick question for my West Coast folks. Are y'all hyped for this pattern shift or dreading the incoming storms? Let me know in the comments. Florida, I already know y'all been watching the rest of this country freeze solid and feeling pretty smug about it. And honestly, that's fair. Miami vibing at 71 degrees, Jacksonville at 58, Orlando at 62, Tampa doing its thing. Must be real nice while we're all layered up like we're headed to Antarctica. But here's the thing, and I genuinely hate to rain on your parade. If the vortex collapse sends another cold surge south, freezing temps could push way deeper than normal. Already happened once this winter when freeze warnings reached near Fort Myers. So maybe don't get too comfortable just yet. Now about that Valentine's Day system that everyone on social media is either hyping to the moon or completely dismissing. Let me give you the straight truth. The European model keeps things relatively chill, some light snow and freezing drizzle from a clipper, nothing that's going to make headlines. But the GFS is painting a much more aggressive picture, showing a wintry low developing from the southern plains and tracking northeast toward the Ohio Valley. Snow on the northern flank transitioning to ice, then rain further south. That's a textbook winter storm setup with serious potential to cause major problems. Yesterday's Euro run showed some crazy deep south snow that had everyone losing their minds, but this morning's run walked a bunch of that back. Does that mean it can't happen? Absolutely not. But right now, I'd call it a Hail Mary. Not impossible, just not the most likely scenario we're tracking. Here's the bottom line on the model situation. Friday has better cold air, but less moisture. The weekend system has better moisture, but weaker cold support. Whichever factor wins that tug of war determines whether we're looking at a minor inconvenience or a significant event. So we watch and we wait. Let me rapid fire through some more cities because I know some of y'all are sitting there getting antsy waiting to hear your hometown mentioned. Virginia Beach looking at 3 inches of snow. Temps around 43, coastal cold keeping things chilly. Watch for that Friday system potentially grazing your area. Colorado Springs at 4 inches, temps around 27. Cold and snowy conditions continuing as that western trough keeps delivering goods from the Pacific. Tucson staying mild and sunny at 55. Mesa and Phoenix pushing into the upper 50s to 70. Basically living the dream while the rest of us suffer. Long Beach and LA mild and rainy in the mid 50s to 60s. That Pacific moisture finally showing up to provide some drought relief. All right, I got to hit you with a safety rundown, and after what happened in January, I'm not going to sugarcoat any of this. If you're dealing with extreme cold, cover every single inch of exposed skin before you step outside. Frostbite is setting in within minutes in these conditions. Check on your elderly neighbors today. Check on anyone you know who lives alone. One phone call or one knock on the door could literally save a life. Keep your devices charged. Know where your local warming center is located, because if power goes out in these temps, you're in survival mode immediately. Generators go outside, away from windows and doors, absolutely no exceptions. Carbon monoxide is odorless and it kills people every single winter. If you're traveling, pack blankets, water, flashlight, phone charger, because getting stranded in this cold goes from inconvenient to dangerous within an hour. Pets come inside, period, end of discussion. If it's too cold for you to stand outside for 10 minutes, it's way too cold for them. Here are the 4 things you need to keep on your radar this week. These are what I'll be tracking closest and updating you on daily. Number 1, extreme cold continuing across the eastern third with wind chills dropping 30 to 60 below zero. This is genuinely life-threatening stuff. Number 2, Friday system potentially bringing snow from the Midwest through the Carolinas. Still nailing down details, but the signal is definitely there. Number 3, Valentine's Day weekend system that could bring significant winter weather to a massive chunk of the country if the models verify. Number 4, West Coast pattern shift starting the 15th, bringing feet of mountain snow and desperately needed moisture to drought-stricken areas. Here's my prediction, and I want you to screenshot this right now. Sierra Nevada ends up with at least 5 feet of snow by February 22nd. If I'm wrong, come roast me in the comments. I can take it. But if I'm right, you owe me a subscribe. That's the deal. Fair and square. I want to hear from y'all. What region should I dive deeper on tomorrow? Ohio Valley breakdown? Southeast risk analysis? West Coast storm parade? Drop it below. Also, real talk. Are you completely over winter at this point? Or are you one of those people who's actually still enjoying this? Comments have been wild on this one. If this helped you understand what's heading your way, smash that like button. It seriously makes a massive difference getting these forecasts out to more people. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this pattern is far from finished, and I'll have fresh updates every single morning as these systems evolve. If you've got family or friends in any of these cities I covered, send them this video right now. The information could help them prepare for what's coming. I'm Tom Hadley. I'll be glued to the overnight model runs, and I'll have your next update ready first thing tomorrow morning if anything shifts. One last thing before I let you go, and this is the part I really need you to hear. 150 families buried someone they loved after January's storm, and some of those people died alone because nobody thought to check on them in time. So before you close this video and go about your day, think about who in your life might need a phone call or a knock on the door today. Storms pass, cold snaps end, but the people we look out for and the connections we protect, that's what actually matters when everything else falls apart. Stay warm out there, stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll see y'all first thing tomorrow. Peace.